What are you at? It's Paul from Wicked Acorn. Welcome back to another Wicked live stream. It's Astrax. Astrax is in the house, and 1234 is in the house. Good evening. Uh, there we go. I looked over and the screen was black. You're behind me. I'm in the future, remember? I looked over and the screen was just completely black. I'm like, oh no, what's going wrong? All right, what are we looking at today? We got a birthday today. Hello, Darren. Is it wild and windy today? I'm not going to try and pronounce that. How do you pronounce that one? Anglesey? Okay. Um, it's the 29th of November, and it's been Halloween here all day. I've been editing the Halloween video. So it's been Halloween here all day, even though it's not Halloween yet. And I was watching a video the other day that Halloween is kind of a new thing in this country, apparently, or fairly new. Uh, I'm not that far in the future. No, I'm not really far in the future, but far enough to maybe. Did I say the wrong date again? It's October 29th. I and I say November 29th. Yeah, okay. No, I'm not that far in the future. Uh, Although I might be. Um, it's October 29th. Thank you for the correction. Yeah, so apparently you guys didn't celebrate Halloween in this country. Um, and my mother told me when she was a kid, they didn't celebrate Halloween either. That it's kind of a new thing, Halloween. They were it's All Hallows Eve, right? Because tomorrow is All Souls Day, or not tomorrow, but the day after Halloween is All Souls Day, and November 1st. Uh, I remember my mother telling me they'd be scared to death to go out because that was when the souls of the dead came back to roam the earth. And it's really sad, really sad. I'll tell you a sad story about Halloween. The first year we moved here was just before Halloween. Um, I came here on the 20th, and I think the rest of the acorns here, they came several weeks ahead of me. I was in the middle of a job, finishing up a job, so they came ahead of me. And but it was in October, and the children were little, and we didn't take them trick or treating because we thought it wasn't a thing here, so they missed out on trick or treating the first year they were here because they do trick or treating here. No one came to our door, but they do Halloween here, of course, as you know. But it's a fairly new thing in this country. And but something my mother told me that they did on Halloween was they didn't carve jack-o'-lanterns or pumpkins for Halloween. They carved turnips for Halloween. They would carve a scary face into a turnip, which apparently is an Irish thing. And that's what they did. So there are connections to. Anyway, there's a great video on there. Chris Spargo, I think, is the name of the channel, and it was about the origins of Halloween that have actually been practiced here in this country off and on over the centuries. and the Irish sort of practice it. The closest we got to celebrating Halloween was standing on a corner with a hollowed out potato with a birthday cake candle in it, wondering what we did next. No, we did Halloween, and one Halloween that really stands out in my mind when I was young was it was a terrible raging snowstorm blizzard, October 31st. Yeah, it was which is really early for snow. We don't get snow like that every year, but we did that one year. I think it was like maybe 7 or 8. And I can remember my sister and I pulling a little sleigh around trick or treating. Uh, anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Today in history is the execution of Sir Walter Raleigh on October 29th, 1618. English adventurer Sir Walter Raleigh was beheaded by King James I of England for treason. And he was one of Elizabeth's courtiers, wasn't he? 1616 led to the expedition to find gold in South America. He was in Newfoundland, Sir Walter Raleigh. He was a bit of a pirate, wasn't he? Privateer. And he's the guy that brought tobacco to the world from North America. And there he is smoking his pipe. And there he is on the left losing his pipe. Which story's an apple bobbing? Yeah, it was celebrated in this country according to the research this other guy did. So Sir Walter Raleigh, I always remember it from that Beatles song. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I'm such a stupid git. I'm so tired. I'll have another cigarette and curse Sir Walter Raleigh. He was such a stupid git, or something like that. So he's the guy that introduced tobacco to the. There's a really funny comedy bit. Bob Newhart, like way, way back in the day. I don't know if you guys know Bob Newhart from the Bob Newhart Show and American actor. But he was a comedian, like a stand up comic. And he did a stand up routine that was a phone call between Sir Walter Raleigh and King James. It's pretty funny. Look it up. It's on YouTube. Also on this day, Edmund Halley. This is a strange one because this confused me. I had to go back and check it to make sure I had put the right thing in. But it's Edmund Halley's birthday, or Halley. English astronomer, Halley's Comet. Mathematician famous for correctly predicting the return of the comet that now bears his name. What year was Halley's Comet? I remember not seeing it, basically. It wasn't much of a spectacle. Um, I don't remember it being something to be remembered. It's like, where is it? Oh, that's it. Um, but the Hale-Bopp comet, remember that one? Hale-Bopp. I remember that one. That was a spectacle. But Halley's Comet, what is it, every 75 years? So I guess we won't be seeing it again. But when was Halley's Comet? I don't remember when it was. I'm not going to do the math or look it up. But it was a couple decades ago, maybe, couple 3 decades ago. And 1066, when tape a twig or buttons on a thread to people's windows so it would tap in the wind. That's a good one. We didn't trick or treat, it was just trick. I daren't say the things we got up to, no. Yeah, we never did much trick or treating. It was more treating. We didn't really do the prankster thing. It was outlawed um, in the States for many years um, because people were, going crazy doing absolute nonsense. 1066, when William the Conqueror came over, there was Halley's Comet. And of course, there's the portent of bad things, good things. Kahutech, that sounds familiar. Hale Bop is the one I remember seeing. I remember we were working on a movie at the time, and it was above the studio, and way off, way off in the distance. But it was like, like that long in the sky. It was, yeah, it was. That was the. Remember, there was some cult. Was that the Nike sneakers bunch that made away with themselves on the Hale Bopp comet? Was that the Nike sneakers? I can't remember what they were called. Uh, anyway, lots of crazy things associated with comets. What's his name? Um, Mark Twain. Mark Twain was born on Halley's Comet when Halley's Comet came, and he died when Halley's Comet came back. Iron Bridge on a Canoe Adventure. Hale Bopp, yeah. Yes, I remember that one. That one was quite striking. And on this day in 1929, the Wall Street crash and Black Tuesday did not single-handedly cause the Great Depression, but acted as a significant trigger that exacerbated a multitude of existing economic weaknesses. And there's a photo you often see is Buddy with his Rolls Royce. There is it for sale for $100, which was still probably a lot of money back then, but not for a Rolls Royce, I guess. I think it's a Rolls Royce. Looks like a Rolls Royce. The emblem on the bonnet there. We say bonnet. Americans say hood, but we say bonnet, as you guys do. Um, yeah, the Wall Street crash, that was an interesting one. And Asterix, bet you didn't know this. On this day in history, the Asterix comic, the Asterix comic series. I know it's spelled differently, but I thought it was worth putting in here. I've never heard of this comic. The Asterix comic series, written by Rene Goscinny and illustrated by Albert Uderzo, first appeared in the inaugural issue of the French magazine Pilote on October 29, 1959. The magazine was aimed at an adolescent audience and co-founded by Goscinny and Uderzo, among others. More details about the publication. The first story, Asterix la Gaulois, Asterix the Gaul, was serialized weekly in pilot form, its debut until July 4th, 1960. It was later published as a standalone album in 1961. The first issue of the magazine was a huge success, selling out all 300,000 copies in a single day. The series became a global phenomenon with over 370 million copies sold and translations into more than 100 languages. Do you remember this, Asterix? Not. It looks vaguely familiar, but not something. Not something I read. But it looks vaguely familiar. So people here know of it, do they? It looks vaguely familiar. I don't. I don't recall it. So today is quiz day, but I think I'm going to play the video. My dad was an electrician. We used to nick lengths of his switching wire and tie one end on someone's door knocker. Yes, yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, it was translated into English. Where are we? I'm going to play the video. I have to go get something. So I'm going to play the video because, as I said, it's been Halloween here all week. So I'm going to make you join the holiday fun, the Halloween fun. It's it's been Halloween here all day, working on the Halloween video. All right. Boo. On the 25th of April, 1555, George Marsh was burned at the stake near Chester. Henry VIII's son, Edward VI, had died, and now Henry's daughter Mary was on the throne. George Marsh was a Protestant preacher. He was for a time in the employ of the king, but Mary was a Catholic, and now it was her turn to make some martyrs. When Marsh was questioned at Smithills Hall, it said he stamped his foot so hard to reaffirm his faith that he left the print of his foot in the stone floor. On the anniversary of his death, the footprint is said to bleed. Smithills Hall is one of the most haunted places in Greater Manchester. Ads. I got a copyright claim on the poo. What's this? I Google whacked my internet name. Yeah, yeah, I did too. I was really surprised that Wicked Acorn wasn't taken. Um, it is on Instagram. Uh, I'm like Wicked Acorn 2 or something. I don't go on Instagram. I post there from time to time, but I'm like Wicked Acorn 2 or something on Instagram.
Manchester might not be the most haunted place in the world, but it might be.
We're counting down the top 5 haunted places in Manchester. With so many to choose from, we had a difficult time narrowing it down. Be sure to let us know what ones you think should have been on the list. Now, without further ado, here they are, the top 5 haunted places in Greater Manchester. Ordsall Hall. If you smell roses and lavender, that's not air freshener. More likely, Cecily is in the room. She lived here around 400 years ago. This pleasant-smelling ghost came to an unpleasant end when she threw herself from the minstrel's balcony after being left at the altar on her wedding day. The hall's most famous ghost is the White Lady, the ghost of Lady Margaret Radcliffe. Part of Elizabeth I's court, this aristocratic lady is said to have died of a broken heart. She ended her life by starving herself to death in the Star Chamber after hearing of the death.
Ordsall Hall. Just 1 second here.
Ended her life by starving herself to death in the.
This bed, if you don't know, is the oldest bed in the country, I believe, at Ordsall Hall. Fairly certain about that fact. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's the oldest bed in the country.
Star Chamber after hearing of the death of her twin brother, Alexander. She has been seen as a floating candle or a lady in a white dress. She is searching for her brother and waits for him to return from battle in Ireland. Bramall Hall. The paranormal was visiting this place before it was even built. A short distance from the hall is Crowholt Wood, and this, so the legend says, is where the builders originally intended the hall to stand. However, night after night the foundations were moved by fairies until the builders had no alternative but to build the hall where it now stands. An old ballad tells of another ghost who haunts one of the bedrooms here, Alice, or the Maid of Bramall Hall. She was eagerly awaiting the return of her lover from Spain, so was naturally horrified when his horse arrived at the hall without a rider. Her lover's body was soon discovered in Macclesfield Forest, murdered by highwaymen. And when his body was brought to the hall, Alice broke down in grief. She mourned him until she died, and still haunts the room.
The ghost camera is still there. I can't remember if it's still on wherever it was, but the ghost camera is still there. It was there the last time I was there, which was just a few months ago, like this year.
Down in grief, she mourned him until she died, and still haunts the room where she eventually gave up her life.
Yeah, there are several ghost cameras there. There's one in the Star Chamber in that bedroom, and there's another one in the stairway I noticed. I assume they're ghost cameras. The one in the Star Chamber is for sure, and the other one in the hallway, I don't know if it's a security camera or maybe it's just a security camera and they're telling us it's a ghost camera. I don't know.
And still haunts the room where she eventually gave up her life. Bramall Hall is visited each New Year's Eve by the Red Rider, a ghost clad in a red cape on horseback. He is said to be the ghost of a real horseman who visited the hall in 1630. He was given food and shelter, but next morning he had disappeared, leaving the owner, William Davenport, dead on the floor. Smithills Hall. As one of the oldest and best preserved manor houses in the country, Smithills Hall has a number of ghostly sightings over the years. In 1554, while Mary I was queen, the country was once again Catholic. George Marsh was a Protestant preacher in Bolton, and a warrant was issued for his arrest. The charge, heresy. Justice Barton of Smithills Hall sent servants to arrest him at his mother's house, but Marsh gave himself up at the hall. After being examined at Smithills Hall in the green room, Marsh stamped his foot so hard to reaffirm his faith that a footprint was left in the stone floor. Marsh resisted the efforts to make him submit, and when he refused to recant, he was sentenced to be burned at the stake. George Marsh was executed on the 24th of April, 1555. The footprint bleeds every year on the anniversary of his death. Rycroft Hall. Disembodied voices and footsteps, shadows and unexplained bad smells. There's an interesting collection of spirits haunting this hall. Children, soldiers, a nurse, and a woman in a mop cap still reside.
That photo, I think, I can't remember now, but I used some photos of Dunham Massey when that was a military hospital in the First World War. So I don't know if that's Dunham Massey or the actual hall mentioned there.
The house. The building was a voluntary hospital during World War I, and the cellars were used as a morgue. Poltergeist activity is reported, with items said to be thrown by unseen hands. More bizarre are the mysterious cigarette butts found when no one has been in the building. The ghost presence of an angry lady is said to occupy the cellar. The hospital mortuary may have been here when the hall was used as a military hospital. In one of the rooms of the cellar, the ghost woman is said to shout,
Scott's your nephew, is that right, Darren? Scott did a thing stayed overnight in this place, I think.
In one of the rooms of the cellar, the ghost woman is said to shout. Some have said she is a nurse who didn't want people visiting. The building has seen much suffering and sadness over the years, and this turmoil seems to have left its mark with all its paranormal activity.
What's it like watching a...
Yeah, he stayed in one of these places. I think it was that last one. I don't know if it was overnight, but he was in the room by himself for several hours, apparently. And he was scared shitless, so to speak. Get through this advert here. There's a lot of ads on this one, isn't there?
Turmoil seems to have left its mark with all its paranormal activity. Wardley Hall. Mentioned in the Domesday Book, this hall is now known as the House of the Screaming Skull, a skull that is kept in a niche at the side of the main staircase. The skull belongs to St. Ambrose Barlow of Didsbury. King Charles I passed a law that all those within the Catholic Church are to flee England or be sentenced to death. On the 8th of September 1641, Ambrose was found guilty. 2 days later, he was taken, drawn on a hurdle to the place of execution, hanged, dismembered, quartered, and boiled in oil. His head was exposed on a pike. His skull was retrieved by his cousin, Francis Downes, the Lord of Wardley Hall, and returned back to Salford. He kept the skull hidden, lest his true leanings be discovered. The skull was rediscovered in the 18th century by the owner of the house. One day, a servant found the skull and threw the grisly relic into the moat, whereupon there was a terrible storm that led the owner of the hall to believe the skull was venting its wrath at being removed. He had the moat drained, and the skull was returned to its position. The skull seems to be indestructible, as it has been buried, burned, and smashed into pieces, always to be found outside the hall the next day, wearing its eternal grin. Well, there you have it. These are only a few of the most haunted things in Manchester. If you'd like to see more like this, please like and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, and be sure to check out our webpage, where you'll find plenty of Manchester things.
I just wanted to watch that one to the end. I haven't seen that in a long time. It's one of the first videos we did here. Not as bad as I thought. So, today is quiz day. Let's get in and see how we can do. What year was the Statue of Liberty dedicated in New York? Anybody know? This is quite an easy one for Canadians because we are inundated with America. A lot of the cable television channels come in from the States, so I guess you wouldn't have to know this, but if you're interested in history and you live in Canada, you would know this because we get a lot of American television. And so no, it was 1876 Asterix. It was given to America by the French in 1876, which of course was the 100th anniversary. Oh, it's 1886! You're right and I'm wrong. Oh, wow. I'm embarrassed now. Because 1776 is their independence thing, right? Why was it 1 year after or 10 years after? That's interesting. What was it, 1886? How interesting. I was certain it was 1876. So it was 10 years after the 100th anniversary. Interesting. And that was one of the questions last night, or one of the this day in history last night. What happened to English adventurer and courtier Sir Walter Raleigh in 1618? He was knighted by Elizabeth I. He laid his cloak down so the monarch avoided stepping in a puddle. He landed on the coast of California. He was beheaded. Well, I wonder what the answer to this one is. B. We just did this one earlier this day in history. He was beheaded this day in history, but he's Sir Walter Raleigh. He was he knighted by Elizabeth I as well? Anyway, I'm pretty certain the answer to this was he was beheaded because we just talked about it. Whose radio broadcast of the novel The War of the Worlds was so believable that it caused widespread panic in 1938? Orson Welles, H.G. Wells, Cary Grant, Laurence Olivier. Hello, Joe. Yeah, pretty sure it's Orson Welles. And yes, it did. They broadcast it without telling people it was a radio play, but why would you? Um, and Cary Grant, he's a Brit, isn't he? Changed his name, and Orson Welles it is. Uh, which continents were connected by the opening of the Bosphorus Bridge in 1973? North and South America, Asia and Africa, Asia and Europe, Asia and Australia. Pretty sure it's not Australia. Archibald, that's right, Archibald Gracie? Or is that somebody else? Who's Archibald Gracie? Why do I know that name? He was really into acid, was he? Whoa. Archibald Leach, right. Who's Archibald Gracie? Why did that pop into my head? Joe is saying A. North and South America. North and South America are connected anyway. Um, North and South America are connected. It's certainly not Asia and Australia. There's no bridge to Australia. Asia and Europe? It looks American, the photo. But North and South America are connected anyway. Asia and Europe, we got 2 for Asia and Europe. Let's go for that. It is Asia and Europe. I mean, I've heard of the Bosphorus Straits, but I don't know where they are. Selected as the worldwide signal for distress in 1906, what does SOS actually stand for? Save our souls, save our ship, send on salvation, or nothing? I don't think it means anything. Save our souls? I don't think it does. I don't think it means anything. 3 for save our souls, so I guess we'll go with save our souls, but I don't think it means anything. It means nothing. I think the very first Marconi sent the first telegraph across the ocean from St. John's, Newfoundland, and I can't remember if it was Marconi. Well, it was Marconi that sent the first wireless signal. I can't remember if it was the wireless signal or the transatlantic cable signal. I think it was it was the first telegraph, wireless telegraph, Marconi, and I think it was just the letter S. That was the first signal, just the single letter S. Pretty sure. It was a single letter anyway. I'm pretty sure it was the letter S. For some reason, I guess because it's distinct. What was the first animal to be sent into orbit aboard the USSR's Sputnik 2 in 1957? I'm pretty sure I know the. Yes, it's Laika. Yes, you're right, Darren. 100%. What is the world's largest circulated English language newspaper, first published in 1838? No idea. The New York Times, the Times of India, the Times UK, Financial Times. Well, if there is a Times of India, it would probably be that because they got the most people, don't they? I don't know. Any ideas? D? Financial Times? The Times UK? I was told the other day that the theme tune to Inspector Morse is actually in Morse code. Yes, I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that. Uh, I don't recall what it says, but yes, there is. Does it spell Inspector Gadget or something? Uh, Inspector Morse, sorry, Inspector Gadget. Um, yeah, what is it? It's. Oh, here's one for you, Darren. YYZ. YYZ. It's. Do you know what YYZ is? I'll leave that with you for a second. YYZ, the intro to YYZ, the symbol thing at the beginning, is the letters YYZ in Morse code. But do you know what YYZ is? What do we got there? Uh, okay, I'm just going to click one blindly. Did I get it right? I don't know if I got it right or not. I just randomly clicked. Where did the famous boxing match, the Rumble in the Jungle, take place where Muhammad Ali delivered a knockout of George Foreman? What was the answer to the last one? It was B. Um, Las Vegas, America, Madison Square Gardens, New York, Kinshasa, Zaire, Harare, Zimbabwe. It was. It wasn't in America. D. Yes, you're right. It's Toronto. It's all the airports. It's Toronto Airport is YYZ, and Newfoundland St. John's is YYT. I don't know the answer to this. It's one. It's uh, C or D. Joe says D. Times of India, was it? Yeah, that makes sense because there's so many people there. Um, it definitely wasn't America. Joe is saying D. We'll go with D. No, it's whatever that was. What was the name of the first thermonuclear weapon, hydrogen bomb, detonated in a test by the U.S. in 1952? Tsar Bomba, Ivy Mike, Little Boy, Honest John. I don't know. Little Boy kind of rings a bell. Big Boy was Big Boy was the name of something else. It was the name of a bomb, but I think that was the name of Little Boy. Yeah, Big Boy was the name of a bomb. I don't know if it was the Hiroshima or Nagasaki. Little Boy, we got two for Little Boy. We'll go with Little Boy. No, Ivy Mike. I think they were trying to confuse us there. Big Boy was the name of, I think, one of the um, Japan ones. What religious movement was begun in 1517 when Martin Luther sent his 95 Theses to the Archbishop of Mainz? How do you say that? Protestant Reformation, Counter Reformation, English Reformation, Unitarianism. I think I know the answer to that one. Enola Gay dropped it, yeah, so it would have been Hiroshima. Do you say Hiroshima or Hiroshima? And do you remember the name of the plane that dropped the Nagasaki one? A family friend was witnessed the Nagasaki bombing. He was in a POW camp. He was aboard. He was in the British Navy. I think it's Protestant Reformation, isn't it? Unitarianism, the crowd is saying. All right, I'll go with your guess. Oh no. Oh no, it's not working. It's not letting me click. Oh no. What's happened? Oh no. What's happened? Oh no. It's not working. Maybe we will never know the answer. Am I going to have to refresh this? Let's see if refreshing it works. We're at the second to last question. Oh, was it? Yeah, that's one I want to visit, the one up on the... I saw some photos of that B-52. There's a lot more of it there than I thought. It's not refreshing. Oh well. It's just stopped. Let's see if I... Okay, I'm going to switch to... No, it shouldn't be a problem with that because it's still on here. So OBS is still transmitting. Google says A. That's what I would have thought. But I cannot advance, and I refresh the page, but it's not refreshing. I'll try reopening it. So I'm just going to go through these quickly. 1886 was the answer to that one. It's not advancing. It must be the page that's not working because everything else seems to be working. Oh well, I guess we'll have to come back and find out tomorrow. Oh, hello, Anne Cunningham. Don't know. It's not working. We will have to find out tomorrow. It's not working. And everything else is working, so it must be the page. Okie dokie. What can I say? Well, thanks everybody for dropping in. It's supper time. I have a map. We were talking about the Bap Barm Cobb thing, and I found a map, and I'll show you that tomorrow. It's 6 different maps of how you can divide up the UK through words, and it shows the geographic areas that use Bap, Barm, Cobb, etc., and several other words. I think there's 6 different words, one of which is supper, and that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go have supper, which is the last meal of the day, the evening meal, and we call it supper. Most around here call it tea, don't they? See you in the next one.